Do you want to know what a Vocaloid is?
No. Speedrun. The word Vocaloid is a portmanteau of vocal and android. People use Vocaloid to cover a wide variety of vocal synth software, and so do I. But to be specific, Vocaloid is a software produced by a company named Yamaha, which is a very big instrument company based in Japan, and you've probably seen synth pianos around. Yamaha decided that if they could capture what a piano sounds like and attach those notes to a keyboard, why not do the same virtually with a human voice? They pioneered the Vocaloid 1 engine. Some people didn't know this, but Yamaha didn't really make voices for the software. Other companies did. Basically, you had to buy the software by itself and then also buy a voice for it. Think about it like, I don't know, buying a plate. So you have a plate to put food on, but you don't have any food to eat, and that plate and the food come from different companies. You can't eat the plate. Anyway, the plate is the Vocaloid software and the food is the voices. That's as far as the analogy goes, and it still works that way. With some exceptions, you usually have to buy the software and the vocals separate. Back in time to 2004, the Vocaloid 1 engine, hereby known as V1, was known as the first generation of Vocaloid, both the software and the voices. The first ones released were a male vocal called Leon.
For the longest if you said goodbye to me tonight, there would still be music left to write.
And a female vocal called Lola.
In the deepest part of me, a tiny flame was lighted, and before I knew it, my whole heart became ignited. Wandering as a butterfly, aimlessly took flight and found myself falling apart. A light from your hand.
And they both sung in English. People liked them because they were a novelty. Before this, there were samples of people singing, but you couldn't have them sing just whatever you wanted. Vocaloid changed that. If you try to hear Leon and Lola sing normal English sounds by today's standards, it probably doesn't sound very good to you. And good luck trying to understand what they're saying. But the true innovation with Leon and Lola is that they opened up the doors to new sounds and new ways to make music. The software at the time was geared towards professionals. People who used Vocaloids were called producers, and they still are to this day. One of the people who saw potential in Leon and Lola were Susumu Hirasawa, the song designer for the epic anime movie Paprika, directed by the late and great Satoshi Kon. He used Lola in several songs. Side note, Paprika is my favorite movie of all time. I think that when introducing vocal synths, it's worth it to talk about the voice providers because these voices don't come from nowhere. So Lola's voice provider has never been revealed, but there's some info on the Vocaloid fan wiki. Lola's voice provider was, quote, described officially as black and is a well-established musician in Great Britain. Her provider has her origins, however, in the Caribbean. And as for Leon, his voice provider, quote, was described officially as black and English and is a well-established musician in Great Britain. So the first Vocaloids are officially black. That's a W. I think that the choice to keep Leon and Lola's voices a mystery was at the time definitely a brand decision. Like they didn't want the singers revealed in case that seemed too restrictive to the creativity, therefore having better sales. If you so happen to want a singer that did have an identity, then you could get Miriam, released in the same year. Zero G was the company that made Lola, Leon, and then Miriam for Yamaha's V1 engine. According to the wiki, Miriam was, quote, modeled on the voice of the popular South African-born British singer and composer Miriam Stockley, end quote.
And all of this world is for children who play.
The box art is even just the singer with a few filters on it. The Vocaloid engine had improved by the time Miriam came out, so her pronunciation was clearer than Lola and Leon. She had a strong accent though, which put her off from American buyers. And in Japan, Lola dominated over Miriam. The very first Vocaloid concert featured Miriam. Russia. In December of 2004, Miriam was used to perform one song, a cover of Sad Mondays with live musicians. She was also the first Vocaloid of the trio to have all of her serial codes be bought. She sold out. The beautiful way she can sustain high notes and can give texture to background melodies is really something. She had a dedicated fan base, and she still does to this day. There's been an outpouring of love for Miriam by dedicated fans over the years who want to see her have an updated edition, something her voice provider, Miriam Stockley, also supports. We're about to talk about some really famous Vocaloid products, but before that, I would like to take note of something. The Vocaloids I've mentioned so far, and every single one that came after, regardless of whether you've heard of them or not, has a fan base. A dedicated group of people that specifically like that Vocaloid character. Lola, Leon, Miriam, and whoever else I bring up, to you these might seem like fleeting names or bits of lore, but to other people, that is their blorbo, the most bestest little tootin' singer of them all. I just think it's worth keeping in mind as we start to talk about. Meiko was another vocal synth that was released in the same year, 2004, and she only spoke Japanese. This time, the company that released the vocal synth wasn't Zero G, but a company named Krypton. If he wanted Meiko to speak English, he had to manually input Japanese phonetics into a song and hope it sounded close. So to Westerners, she didn't really land anywhere on her release. In Japan, however, her sales were booming and something really interesting started to happen. Unlike the ones released by Zero G, Krypton put an anime-esque cartoon on the cover of their product. The concept of having a default original character to base the voice on ended up being a game changer. Meiko wasn't just a hit with professional Japanese music producers anymore, but also indie musicians and shitposters playing with computers in their bedrooms and the garages.
クリプトンの皆さんいつもお世話になってます。ありがとうございます。そしてクリプトン製品を使ってくる。これは私の家族に向けて歌った歌だけど、みんなが家族を思い出してくれる時間になればいいなと思って。築30年の集合住宅の
In Japan, Meiko ended up selling 300% of what was expected of her in the best case scenario. 2 years after that, 2006, Kaito came out. This source very carefully says the pioneering male Japanese vocal library remains popular to this day. And while that's true, it completely dodges the bullet that Kaito's sales did extremely poorly when he came out. Where Meiko sold 3,000 units in her first year, Kaito only sold 500. Very much disappointing, Krypton. I think it comes down to two things. One, the novelty of the Vocaloid engine had died out a bit, and two, the market that was attached to Meiko were indie music head otakus who liked moe appeal, which at the time I can only assume was a pretty male-dominated space, so rather than buying Kaito, people would just more easily record themselves. Kaito's design was also a little weirder than Meiko's. It was kind of fresh and graffiti-like in a way similar to Meiko, but it was weirdly youthful compared to a sort of mature voice provider's voice.
100年いつも動いていたご自慢の時計さ
It was overall a fail, but Vocaloid as a concept did not end there, so his story continues. So stick around for the part where I talk about Vocaloid 2. If you've gotten this far, I should probably introduce myself. Tepper's Art is me. It's my online handle pretty much everywhere. I am an artist, I'm a music producer, and I create comics. You can find everything that you need to know about me on my website, teppersart.com, and links to all my other stuff, such as my other YouTube, where I am a music producer for vocal synth stuff. So feel free to get that to check out and see if you like it. I also have a Patreon at Tepper's Art. So if you want to support me, if you like what I do, help me be able to work on these videos, I'd really appreciate it. I also do more stuff on this channel that is more art related. Hopefully you found this very informative, and thank you so much for sticking around. If you have any questions or you just want to comment on how you think I did explaining so far, please feel free to give a like and subscribe and comment. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you had fun. Bye bye.